What is up, guys? It's your boy CrazyBlaze98, aka Nicholas Morales, founder of the EHG community. I'm reacting to a little bit of an old rant from a long time ago. If you guys don't know, I am actually a WWE fan. Like, I'm a fan of, like, you know, MMA, UFC, you know, WWE, AEW, TNA, you know, New Japan World Wrestling, and stuff like that. It's like I've never done a video ever reacting to anything of it. So I want to try to react to, you know, Chris Jericho's rants about, you know, things like the Hall of Fame. There are things that, like, that there were rants about him and, you know, people going over the rail and getting into the WWE ring and, you know, stuff like that. So we'll go ahead and first listen to the one about the Hall of Fame. I would like to know like what he says about it. And I'll give a slight opinion on it. First of all, I want to give a shout out to Chris Jericho, you know, Le Champion, you know, one of the greatest wrestlers that ever lived. I actually want to try to see if I can go on that Chris Jericho cruise and probably get myself a little bit of the bubbly, which is that brand new that new champagne, that wine that he has, which actually you could buy 2 of them for like $30 to $40, which is actually pretty damn good. I'm actually pretty impressed by that. I might end up getting that. But let's go ahead and let's react to it. Let's see what we got. I'm gonna keep quiet until the whole video is done. So,
you know, but what really got me is watching the Hall of Fame ceremony. And it's this very prestigious, very cool, you know, ceremony. You train and work your ass off your whole life, and hopefully someday you can get put in the Hall of Fame. And sure, it's like everyone that people say, well, it's all the work anyways. Well, aren't they all a work? It's just, you know, the Baseball Hall of Fame's a work. Well, someone has to vote these guys in. And in the WWE, Vince votes these guys in. But he takes a lot of advice from his, you know, his right hand men, from his court. So to get into the WWE Hall of Fame, it is a cool thing. It's not just anybody gets in there. I mean, look at Randy Savage. It took him 15 years to get in for whatever the reason was. You can go back and listen to Lanny Poffo on TIJ and listen to some of the issues that Vince and Randy had, or whether it was Bruno Sammartino or Bob Backlund or Bret Hart or all these guys that should be in the Hall of Fame, and finally they're getting in there after years and years and years. You know, it's just like the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. The fact that Deep Purple's not in it, it's bullshit. You know, obviously there's some politics against them getting in there, and when Green Day's first year comes up and they get voted in, well, there's politics to get them in there. So my point is that the WWE Hall of Fame is a legit Hall of Fame. It's a legit ceremony, and I'm watching this, and some of the guys are getting catcalled, and some of the guys are getting the what chant. And that really made me mad. As a matter of fact, I went on Twitter and I said, you know, F off to all the a-holes that think it's cool to go and do the what chant. You know, you don't deserve to be there. And there were people who were actually standing up for those guys, saying, listen, we pay our money, we pay your salary.
by the way, I'm gonna check out this tweet because he said that he has this tweet that F all to all the a-holes that you know did the what chant. Let me check it out.
We could do whatever we want, and I say absolutely not. Okay? Let's say you go to a Broadway play. I don't know, let's say you want to go see Jersey Boys, and you buy your ticket, and so halfway through the show when they're singing Sherry, you stand up and start yelling, boring, 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 or end this show, or every time one of the guys says a line, you go, what, you know, someone flubs up, you effed up, you do not have the right to do that. Because if you went to a Broadway play and you stood up and interrupted the show, guess what would happen? You would be kicked out, and the other fans and the other people who were there would be telling you to shut the hell up. Okay? If you go to a NHL Hall of Fame ceremony, or an NBA Hall of Fame ceremony, or NFL Hall of Fame ceremony, and you start catcalling the guys who have given their blood, sweat, and tears to the business, you will be kicked out, and it shows disrespect. Okay? You do not have the right to say and do whatever you want at a Hall of Fame ceremony, because it's a prestigious ceremony. It's a respectful ceremony. I mean, and don't tell me that I'm not right about this, because I don't care. If you don't believe it, you do not deserve to go to the Hall of Fame, because people have died for this business. They have died because of this business. My friends have died in this business. Blood, sweat, tears, wheelchairs, paralyzed for life, mental issues, head trauma. Don't tell me that every single person who is inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame is not worthy. And do not tell me they don't deserve your respect for getting this prestigious award and to go on stage and to say a few words and have the, I don't want to overuse the word respect, but given the courtesy, that's the word I'm looking for, given the courtesy to say what they have to say without getting sidetracked by a couple of morons who think it's funny to go disrupt the ceremonies. And like I said, people are making fun of it. Like if you think you can go on a tangent about this and think you have any point, not with me, you don't. Because I'll tell you what, and I'm not joking. If the day comes when I get inducted to Hall of Fame and some son of a bitch is trying to steal the show, steal my thunder, I will walk to your seat and I will slap you in your face. Okay? That's how much I believe in this. Bushwhackers. Somebody even said, well, why did they get in the Hall of Fame? They never won the tag team titles. What's wrong with you, stupid Mark? It's not about that. It's about, you see Luke or Butch, I think it was Butch, walking on canes to get to that stage and still putting on a show for you, getting that one last chance to be in front of a sold-out crowd and get the respect he deserves and get the one last cheer for all the hard work he did, all the time he was away from his family, all the birthdays he missed, all the parties he missed, all the holidays he missed, all the high school plays and elementary school plays that he missed. That is what a Hall of Famer is, okay? Arnold Schwarzenegger. What did Arnold Schwarzenegger ever do to get in the WWE Hall of Fame? You are missing the point. Yeah, he did 3 or 4 appearances on Raw, etc., but he is a wrestling fan, okay? He stands up for wrestling. He talks about wrestling. He loves this sport. Mm-hmm. And if you don't respect Arnold Schwarzenegger for all he's done, Arnold should be in every Hall of Fame ever just for being Arnold. Bodybuilding, okay? What has Arnold Schwarzenegger ever done to get in the WWE Hall of Fame? How about inspire everybody that ever picked up a weight?
Oh my God, he's fucking on the point. I like this guy. I love Chris Jericho. Yes, he's on the fucking point. A lot of people who fucking literally lifted weights wanted to be fucking Arnold. Everybody wants to be Arnold. If you ever see him play Hercules, he's like, like you ever saw that scene where he's like, I'm going to show you how to throw the discus. You guys can't do it properly. You're not throwing it far enough. And like that's how fucking awesome Arnold was. Arnold was the fucking man and still is. The guy went from, like, it was like what Bill Burr said. It was like, oh, you know what? This guy went in not knowing fucking English, became one of the top movie stars. He ended up marrying a Kennedy, and he ends up being the governor of fucking California. Boom, there you go. Like, movies like fucking Kindergarten Cop, fucking Terminator. Oh! Those damn movies he made so much bank out of. And it's because Arnold was fucking Arnold. That's how it was. And he has a point. Yeah, a lot of weightlifters in WWE were probably inspired by people who fucking did what Arnold did. Like, for instance, like Mark Henry. Look at Mark Henry, the world's strongest man. He earned that title lifting weights and doing all stuff like that. Probably was inspired by Arnold Schwarzenegger. So yes, obviously, yes, Chris, yes.
What has Arnold Schwarzenegger ever done to get into the WWE Hall of Fame? Oh, I don't know. How about Terminator or Total Recall or True Lies or Commando or any movie that any of us watched when we were kids growing up and thinking, I want to do that. I want to be like that. I want to look like that. I want to play a character and live out my dream. And that's what WWE superstars do. Okay? So everybody that got inducted into that Hall of Fame absolutely deserved it. And even if you don't think so, you shut your mouth, you listen to the speech, you cheer for them, and you enjoy being a part of something special. Okay? Because the WWE Hall of Fame is very special. It's a once-in-a-year thing that people who have worked their whole lives get in there. And if you think you have the right to chant what, or chant boring, or catcall the father of a child who died from cancer that was a huge wrestling fan, then you need to get out and don't ever come back to a WWE event. And as a matter of fact, if you're one of those people right now and you disagree with me, you're banned from listening to this podcast. You got it? You're banned. You're banned. I love wrestling. I love being a wrestling fan. I love the WWE. I love New Japan Pro Wrestling. I love TNA. I love Ring of Honor. I love ECW, SMW, WCW, freaking WFWA ran by Tony Condello in Winnipeg, Canada. I am a wrestling fan. I respect this business, and anybody who disrespects it just because they think they deserve it, because they bought a ticket, you can come face to face. You don't agree with me? Come face to face with me and listen to the dress down that I give you. Now, if this is a wrestling show, you buy a ticket, you say whatever you want. Wow. Trust me, I've heard it all, as a heel and as a babyface. God bless you, man. You say whatever you want. You have the right. You go to a Hall of Fame, it's real, and you show respect. Because those people, those men and women, deserve your respect. And if you don't want to give it to them, you want to steal the show and be the jackass of the night, you don't deserve to be there. And I will stand by that to my dying day. And if that makes me a company shill, then I'm a company shill, damn it. You understand me? Got me fired up here. And don't get me wrong, I love all you guys that are listening to this show, and I appreciate the fact you're taking the time to listen to this show. But I can have an opinion too. Not everybody's going to like me. I don't like everybody. But I do have respect for everybody that's listening to this show until they prove otherwise. Okay? So let's all be friends. Let's all get along. Let's raise our hands together and sing Kumbaya. Kumbaya, my Lord. A Kumbaya. A Kumbaya, my Lord. A Kumbaya.
Yeah, I know he has his band
Kumbaya,
Fozzy. That's why.
my Lord.
Wow, the guy came out with cowbell, huh?
Oh, Lord. A Kumbaya. All right. You heard it this week.
Okay, so interesting how he just came out singing Kumbaya with a cowboy. I think with a cowboy cowbell. Interesting. I would like to hear like Chris Jericho do I'd be interested in like Chris Jericho doing like a Christian album. That would be interesting. You know, you'll be hearing stuff like that. But yeah, so like hearing everything that he says, it does make sense, and he actually has a major point to everything that he has to say. Like at one point there were major things, like there were people telling Medusa to like, you know, take it off, like all that stuff, like the Bushwhackers, like people were like, oh, why did Bushwhackers get into Hall of Fame? Like because they're one of the most inspirational tag teams, of course. You know, like craziness, like, you know, like how these like started craziness, you know, going back and forth up and down the freaking stage, even before where I was born. And then, you know, like it brought like inspiration to like, you know, crazy tag teams, like, you know, the Dudleys and everything. So yeah, they have a major part into it. Especially with Arnold Schwarzenegger, when he said things about Arnold Schwarzenegger, it actually makes sense, because Arnold Schwarzenegger, like people like Snoop Dogg, Kid Rock, all got into the Hall of Fame because they're all major contributors to the WWE because they love WWE. Especially Arnold Schwarzenegger had certain events where he like backhanded Triple H and started beating him up in WWF, like when WWE was WWF, but you know, because of copyright and some issues, they got rid of that. There was also you know, where Snoop Dogg went ahead and tackled Chavo Guerrero, you know, and there was so much instances where they had so much done, and that was awesome. I was so glad to hear that. As I said, like I am very, very, I respect Chris Jericho, because Chris Jericho has been wrestling for a long time. Chris Jericho, I believe he started around in, I believe, like when it comes to his career, he started around the 1991, I believe, or excuse me, he started at 19 with with the Hart Brothers School of Wrestling, and then he went on to be the legend that he is now. Like you had Y2J, and you have Chris Jericho in, like, you know, WCW. You have Chris Jericho in New Japan World Wrestling, especially with recently, where he went like in a match with Kenny Omega, doing an amazing match with Kenny Omega, and you know, there's him being the first undisputed champion of all time, undisputed WWE champion of all time, you know, and the fact that he's one of the most skilled wrestlers. The thing is with him, yeah, like he has a point. Like, that's something that's very important, especially when it comes to the WWE wrestlers for Hall of Fame. And things like, if something like that happened and he comes up to you and smacks you, like, and I'm right next to you, I'm gonna just like, I'm just gonna look away. I'm like, that's what happens. That's what happens. That is what happens. I'm not gonna say anything to that. He's a guy that helped a lot of wrestlers and inspired a lot of wrestlers also. With his stance on the Hall of Fame, it makes sense. Why would you pay a ticket to go to an event just to be an asshole? Like, if you were doing that for like an event, like, for things like, like, as I said, like a Broadway show or a show, they would kick you out. And that's something that's very interesting. Like, it's like literally something that was is there really something that should have been a thing? Is there really something that that, like, if people were literally catcalling, especially like with the Hall of Fame events or certain things like that, people should get kicked out, or the Hall of Fame should be just for like the WWE stars and their families. It got to a point where, like, I believe in one of the ceremonies that Bret Hart was attacked, and that's a warning to you guys, especially because Chris Jericho did state this: if you get over the ring barrier, the area where all the fans are at, like that wall right there, and then you step into the ring thinking that you're gonna be safe, security will come in and take you out. Or even worse, if one of the WWE wrestlers grab you, it is the worst thing that you could ever do. You just might as well just sign your will before you even go in there, because then they caught the guy who went ahead and tackled Bret Hart, and then the guy who was being pulled out was getting his ass beat in the midst of being pulled out by one of the guys from the Revival. And it's like damn, like, this is ridiculous. Like, because they even cheered the guy who was beating him up, who was from the Revival, and I was like, yo, respect to that man, respect to him. That's something that, one, if you could possibly hurt the WWE stars. Like, someone could come in with a gun or a weapon, God forbid, and something could happen to them. Like, for instance, there was I believe there was a singer who was stabbed to death by a fan who got onto the stage, and it was ridiculous. Like, fans tend to do crazy things. Like, for instance, like, with Selena, where she was killed by a crazy fan. How a guy killed John Lennon for his fame. Stuff like that is a major thing. So yeah, I definitely agree with Chris Jericho. I support Chris Jericho on this. I'm like, that's kind of disrespectful what people do. Like, just because if you pay a ticket, you'd have no right to be disrespectful to people who are actually going home, like leaving home, like probably 320 days a year, barely have time off with their family, on the road constantly, not just like in like United States. So you sometimes get people from England or Tokyo and Switzerland, and now they're in Saudi Arabia. Like, so they're leaving those areas to a point where they can't even sit down and relax on their couch and watch TV. They're constantly moving, and they're constantly doing shows for everybody, putting their bodies on the line, and some people have died doing that. So that is a major thing that they do deserve some respect out of that. And the fact that, destroying like a special event where people have earned stuff like that, like a Hall of Fame ceremony, a Hall of Fame ring, like stuff like that. Like, if you even like seriously, I would literally, if I was part of the Hall of Fame thing, I would literally give these guys their own customized titles. That's just me. Customized titles, not just the ring, but the customized titles themselves. And the problem is, because like, they are champions, they were champions. Give them a customized title for right now, for that and the ring. Like, I feel like that's a major thing that they have earned. They busted their ass doing so. And that's just me. But I want to know what you guys think. I want you guys to comment on what you guys believe. But definitely subscribe to the EHG community. Definitely turn on your notifications when we get new streams and new videos set out. definitely join us on our Facebook group, our Discord channel. Make sure to check out our merchandise. Make sure to subscribe to our moderators and support our sponsors. Reason why I did this is because I said, like, I'm a fan of WWE, so I do a lot of things, like, when it comes to, like, video games most of the time, but I'm a big fan of WWE, and I've seen a lot of things, like, you know, like, fans going over the barrier and literally getting into a ring, getting their asses kicked, getting in trouble, going to jail, and, you know, some wrestlers had ended up having to fight them. Even if you check out a video, there's a video of Stone Cold being attacked and Triple H literally German suplexing a guy and punching the hell out of him. That is the last thing you want. I would just sit my fat ass in the chair and be like, You know, I just paid a ticket to see a guy go in the ring, a fan go in the ring and get his ass kicked. I got more than what I paid for. Yeah, so so I just paid to see you get your ass kicked. So, but this is your boy CrazyBanks98, aka Nicholas Morales, founder of the EHG community, and stay tuned for another reaction video from us. And as I said, we're gonna continue on from our video game walkthroughs. We do our walkthroughs Monday through Friday, and we take breaks like on the weekend. But as I said, you know, stay tuned for the next video.